Hello everyone, in today's video we're going to be taking a look at the Aerolite 103, this neat, incredibly tiny airplane, and doing a little bit of flying, kind of walking through the cold start procedure, kind of getting you familiar with it. So when you first climb into this thing, you realize it doesn't have much going on here. It's a very simple aircraft, not a lot of buttons. We've, some airspeed indications and some little general warnings people stuck on with a piece of tape. Makes me feel a little bit better. Of course, our electronic system is above our head. The engine is just a few inches from our ear, and we're sitting on the fuel tank. So if you actually come down here, first stop to get this thing started is actually under the fuel tank. There's a handle down here. It's this little red guy. You're going to want to grab and crank that there. Otherwise, you're not going to have any fuel flow, and things aren't going to go well for you. At the very least, it's going to be a lot shorter of a flight. Pop back in the seat real quick. We're going to reach above our head after cracking the throttle just a little bit. So I got that pretty comfortable. We're going to pop on the two mags just like that. We're going to flip on the master switch, and then we just press and hold the starter until it catches. Here we go. That's it. It's as hard as it is to start. All right, with that going, I'm going to go ahead and give the tachometer a little tap here. Again, we're about 2,000 RPM is a pretty good RPM here. We're just going to kind of sit here idling for a few moments. They'll just kind of warn you real quickly here. We're not supposed to be going past any of these limits. And again, it's not like they show the limits to you, but it is very easy to exceed the maximum RPM. You will do that very quickly and easily on this. You can see my exhaust gas temperature, cylinder head temperature. It's going to take a little while. We also have this lovely tool here, just to kind of give us that extra bit of detection whether or not we have ridge lift. Now, we do have some flaps on this one. The big thing with the flaps on this is just to slow you down. To engage them, you have a little handle. You actually reach right above your head and hit the switch, and you can see they pop down like that. I'm going to leave them all the way in the up position because we don't need them for takeoff. We don't need much for takeoff, actually, as a matter of fact. So I'm going to go ahead and release the parking brake. Just put that down on the floor. Go ahead and give it a tap of power. And you can see this thing starts rolling very smoothly. Again, I love airplanes like this. It's got a special place in my heart, something this stupidly dangerous. For those of you who are big fans of flying in VR, this thing is an absolute gas in VR. It's just so lightweight, and you can dash in and out of fields and stuff. And don't worry, we'll be doing some hot dogging with it. All right, so normally you give it about 3 or 4 minutes to warm up, but like I said, we have no engine damage turned on or anything like that, so we don't have to worry about that. This aircraft has got a slow response on the ground, but the brakes are fantastic, so just kind of be careful when you're maneuvering it. You'll kind of see what I mean the first couple times you try it. All right, so notice we have no altimeter. This is a visual plane. All right, we're good to go. I'm going to go ahead and apply some power here. Go ahead and zoom in a little bit here so we can see how much power we're applying. Whoa. Oh my goodness. Sometimes the camera next plane can be fun times. There we go. All right. Waiting for our rotate speed. And we are on our way. Fantastic. So you can see just like that, the thing just snaps up in the air and we start going. I didn't realize there was an orchard around Ellington Airport. So that's new for me. Cool. I like it. And we're climbing pretty smoothly here. You can take a look here at power-wise. We're 6,300 RPM. We can use just a little bit more power if we wanted, and that is basically the absolute limit. So flying this aircraft, very similar. We have pretty big ailerons, so if you were to just kind of push the controls over, you can see that there's a lot of adverse yaw. This thing is basically not turning at all. It's almost like we're flying without a tail. And when I jam my controls, do you see how it just kind of lazily turns and then it kind of catches itself and has like that kind of teeter-totter effect? You want to compensate with that, of course, by applying rudder when you're turning. We do have a little ball down there at the middle to make our life a little bit easier, but basically when you're turning, just push your foot in the direction of the aileron. So if I was to go this way, give it a little bit of right foot with the right aileron, and you can see it gets us a much smoother turn there. Nice. That's going to be the first big difference with this aircraft. Another thing you'll notice is the RPM is slowly making its way upwards as we start to accelerate because it is a fixed pitch prop. So we just want to kind of be mindful of that, and we'll kind of rip down the road here. The funny thing is there are houses here. There's not that many houses. It's just kind of one of those things. But we'll take a nice modified traffic pattern. As far as things like VXs and VYs and stuff, this thing climbs perfectly comfortable at about 60 knots. The big thing you just have to be mindful of is cooling, especially with this particular engine. If I were to zoom in a little bit, you can see my cylinder head temperature. I've only been going for a moment here, and we're about 150 degrees. And our limit there is about 280 degrees. Remember, that's in Celsius. So this thing is warmed up pretty quick. So just kind of keep a little eye on that as you are kind of cruising around. They do give you exhaust gas temperature, which you can see. I'm basically peak right now, so I can't go too much more than that. But again, it lets you know sort of what we have there. Nice. I always like the fact that its takeoff weight is, 600 pounds. That's it. And of course, you have that very, very angry engine behind me, just kind of buzzing away as we're kind of cruising around. Endurance on this thing, not lively. I would not want to be sitting in this seat for more than 2 hours as it is. You could probably go a little bit longer than that, especially if you use conservative power settings. As far as ceiling goes, a few thousand feet is pretty safe. I wouldn't want to be up too high. We do have a parachute on this, believe it or not, in emergencies. We're not going to hit it or anything like that, but we do have that capability. Navigation on this one consists completely of looking out the window, or if you'd prefer, there is a little compass sitting there right there in the middle. It's an okay compass. It'll tell you that I'm facing roughly east right now, for example, but that's about it. This is really not the kind of aircraft that you're going to be doing long-distance cruising. This is truly a sports. Let's have some fun plane. Speaking of let's have some fun, let's have some fun. Notice how one quick little turn and we're already at our yellow speed. That is one thing I got to be really careful with these, is gravity really takes over. Nice and low, nice and low. Enjoying the spiral, enjoying the spiral. There we go. I just went to lose some altitude without going faster. There we go. Let's annoy all the cows that would normally be here. And again, you can see this thing allows for flying like this without a lot of work on my part. If I went to come chase down that car that I see right there, for example, there's nothing stopping you from running alongside of it. Slowing down to nothing. And basically keeping pace with it, if that's something that you wanted to do. But again, that's one of the incredible things about ultralight aircraft like this. Another thing you want to be mindful of when you're flying this, it doesn't have a lot of inertia. So if I went ahead and accelerated, go real hard in the engine for a second here, you'll see it climbs, no problem. But the other thing you'll notice is if I pull the throttle to 0, you'll notice it slows down instantly. And as a matter of fact, they're doing 30, full power. See how it just basically powers itself out of nasty situations. And that is another wonderful quirk of aircraft that are this lightweight. All right, let's go get ourselves set up for a landing here. Landing speed, especially if you're lighter weights, you can easily come in at 35 knots. Yes, 35, just like half the speed of most other aircraft of this kind of situation. But again, we're also a third of the weight of most of this aircraft, so it doesn't surprise me. Big thing you got to remember during landing on this one is that you're going to be very close to the ground. That's one of those things that kind of shocked me the first time I had experience with one of these firsthand. So if I kind of come down here like this, there's my lovely runway 1. Go ahead and pop our flaps down in the yellow arc. You're not really going to feel the flaps. It's just going to result in slowing you down sooner. There we go, right over the ground. It's just going to run out of energy. Bloop, and we're on the ground. Easy on the rudder pedals. As you can see, this thing is very sensitive, but the stopping distance is, go-kart stopping distance. What was that, 50 feet? Kind of a deal like that. So very, very cool plane. Of course, one of the things that you can do with it, if you're a naughty, naughty, naughty person, I got to show you because I'm a naughty, naughty person. All right, let's go ahead and put the flaps all the way down. Let's go ahead and apply full power. Stick all the way back. Whee! You can see this thing just snaps into the air like instantaneously, if that's something that you need to do. But again, it depends what you're trying to do. But let's have a little bit of naughty fun with it. I got to get a little altitude first. There we go, about 1,000 feet up or so. And again, I like how the altimeter only goes to like 5,000 feet. That should tell you something. But one of the crazy, crazy, crazy things. Go ahead and build up a little bit of speed. Falling leaf, falling leaf. Isn't that fantastic? I don't know. I just think this thing's so fascinating. But other than that, enjoy.